What's up, creatives? Welcome to the Tiffy Show. Today I'll be giving advice on if your boyfriend is still friends with his ex. If you haven't, make sure you turn on notifications so that you know when I post a video. I like to post about travel, dating, and everything in between, so if that's your jam, hit subscribe. Let's get to it. What to do if your boyfriend is still friends with his ex? I'm gonna give a little story. I went on a date with a guy once. It was probably the second or third date, I don't remember, sorry. But he mentioned in that date that his ex was his best friend, that no one could come between him and his ex's friendship. If any girl ever even mentioned anything or had an issue with it, he could never be with that girl, and that his ex was in his life for the long run and there's nothing anyone can do about it. So needless to say that we didn't have any more dates after that. It was just not because specifically that he was friends with his ex. Maybe it was just kind of the way he came about it. I don't know, but I do respect that he told me early on in the dating game because it gave me a chance to kind of weigh my options. Did I really want to enter this the way he said that? It sounded kind of like a red flag. Did I have time? Did I want to put my energy into this situation? So I kind of just stepped back. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna step back. Being lonely is not that bad. Can you be friends with an ex? Of course you can. Can your boyfriend be friends with an ex? Of course he can. But this is all dependent on your relationship, and everyone is completely different on how they feel about a situation. Did I say situation twice or 3 times, thrice? Well, I don't know. But everyone is different. So my point here that I want to stress the whole time when I'm giving you advice and tips is know yourself. You got to know yourself. And that's with all advice that I give people, is it's just not a one size fits all situation. But you can kind of weed through and see if there's red flags or issues that you have that you can come together. And if you're both mature adults, like you should be able to talk something through and come up with a compromise or come up with something that both of you are happy with. Now, as I'm talking about boyfriends being friends with their exes, I'm not going to be talking about being friends with an ex-wife, because that is a different ball game entirely, especially if there's children involved. If you'd like a video on a boyfriend being friends with an ex-wife, let me know in the comments below. I will do a video on that because I do feel like there's boundaries, different kind of boundaries that need to be set in that situation. But moving on, we will only be talking about boyfriends being friends with their ex-girlfriends or ex-fiancés or ex-whoever's, but no children involved. There's different levels of friendship. I've mentioned in videos before that there's something called micro-cheating, which has to do with being friends with someone like through social media, liking all their pictures, sending them private DMs, things like that. There's friendships where it's the person your boyfriend sees his ex all the time, they hang out, they talk on the phone constantly, he hangs out with their family. And then there's the friendship where they are specifically just Instagram or Facebook friends, and then on their birthdays, they might say happy birthday on the wall. But in between that, they never really have any communication. I think that you have to see which level that your boyfriend is friends with his ex, and I don't feel like the last one is too bad, especially if you look at yourself and you're like, well, I do follow that my ex myself on Instagram. Does that qualify us as friends? So you really need to see what kind of relationship that your boyfriend has with his ex. When he brings this up to you, don't just brush it off. You're gonna need to dig deeper and see how it makes you feel. And I know that a lot of times when we start first dating someone, when someone first becomes our boyfriend, we want to be the cool girl. We're the cool girl. We cool about everything. No, it's cool, blah, 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 blah. And then later we blow up and become like crazy sometimes. Like, just let them know ahead of time when things bother you if you have questions. That brings me to my next point. Let him know early how you feel and communicate. So when you learn about the ex, you need to ask questions, be nosy, be that girl, and really get a feel for their relationship. Is it based on trauma? Is it a long relationship where they were childhood best friends, and then they dated for a second, and then they realized they're better as friends? Or was it a short-term relationship where they realize that they don't work out as a couple, but they share an instinctive like for anime, so they talk about anime sometimes? Or is it a situation possibly where she might have decided that, hey, I don't like guys anymore, I like women, so we could be friends, but I'm not, you know what I mean? There's a lot of different levels of relationships, so you need to dig deep and really get nosy and find out why he feels the need to be close to this person still and be this person's friend. You definitely have the right to have any sort of feelings that you do after this conversation with your boyfriend, and if you feel like it brings up any red flags, that's fine. I have a video about if your boyfriend is still in love with his ex. I suggest you go watch it after this video just to make sure and just clear the air on any feelings that you have. If he's mature, he should be open to hearing how you feel about his relationship with the ex. If you feel like he should be talking to them less or compromise on how they should be communicating in the future, that's fine. One thing though I will say is this is a conversation that needs to be between you and your boyfriend. I don't think that it necessarily needs, the ex needs to be brought in to give her 2 cents, to tell you blah, 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 or like he needs to talk to her first and bring it back to you. That is a red flag. A relationship conversation is a relationship conversation. I don't think that any third parties need to be brought in, whether it's your friends or in this situation, his ex. I think that you just need to work it out with each other and see what the common ground is, because sometimes when you get a million opinions on something, you don't know what to do. And again, it's dependent on all the factors that I mentioned and how you feel about this. Meet the ex. I know it sounds weird, but if your boyfriend is adamant that this person is going to be part of his life, and you know that you love your boyfriend and you will be with your boyfriend, then and this is like a issue that comes up a whole bunch, then you need to meet the ex. Like, that has to happen. If your boyfriend cares about this person and that is a person in their life, then you need to learn about why, you need to meet them, you need to see if they are a person that can become your friend. Now, this is where it can get red flaggy and kind of weird, because if the ex is avoiding meeting you, not like coming to, maybe you invite her to a party, or you are all going to a bar and you invite them to come along, and if the ex is always having an excuse on why they can't come, why they can't meet, that's a red flag. Why are they avoiding to meet you? It could possibly be that they're harboring feelings for the boyfriend and they don't want to meet you, or for whatever reason, that's kind of weird. So pay attention to that, and also pay attention if your boyfriend is hanging with that person still and they're avoiding meeting you, that is an issue, and you need to bring that up to your boyfriend, because that is something that is a red flag and should be addressed. Because if this person is just their friend, like they said, like any friend, they shouldn't have a problem meeting you or hanging out with you or being in the same space as you. And if your boyfriend is keeping you away from his ex for a reason too, that is also an issue. If this is a situation where it should be fine, where you guys are friends, you should be able to meet the ex. Now, I know that I said that like very normally, but like, know yourself. That is my tagline, know yourself. If you are some crazy person that likes to fight and likes to throw down all the time, and you're like, my boyfriend won't let me meet his ex, and underlining issue is that you are strapped all the time and you're ready to fight, that might be a reason. So know yourself in this situation, okay? My last point is, how do they communicate? And this really goes down to, again, what I mentioned before. Are they just saying happy birthday once a year? Not a big deal. But are they communicating all of the time? Is he telling her his secrets and accomplishments before he shares them with you? Also, this is a good point to make. Is she single? Is she having conversations and blowing up your boyfriend's phone like a girlfriend? Because that's an issue. If she's become emotionally attached to your boyfriend still and he can't seem to let go because he's afraid of something, her doing something, or her emotional state, that's an issue. And that is something that you need to talk to and you need to come together about, because I know that that happens a lot of times where people feel pressured to still talk to someone, or feel that that person's emotional state is connected to them, like they're in control of that. But ultimately, you have to like protect yourself, and your boyfriend needs to protect himself too in terms of mental state. And if that's an issue where he's afraid, if I stop talking to her, she might do something crazy, that's an issue where she needs to get a therapist or get professional help at that point. And it's not something that your boyfriend can necessarily fix. And that's something that you should let him know. But pay attention to how they communicate, and just make sure that it is a friendship, and you know what a friendship sounds like and looks like, and I know what a friendship sounds like and looks like. And you definitely know when people are projecting relationship vibes onto a friendship, and don't let that happen. Or communicate with your boyfriend and let him know you're not comfortable with it. That's it. That's all the tips I have for if your boyfriend is still friends with his ex. Again, I want to mention that not every relationship is one size fits all. This is about your feelings and communicating them with your boyfriend. So if you have an issue with him being friends with his ex, don't let someone make you feel bad for that or gaslight you. Just bring it up to him and try to find a compromise. Try to find somewhere in the middle to meet. Ultimately, if he cares about your feelings and he wants you in his life, you should be a priority. He will make it work, and he'll figure out something, even if it just means that he can't communicate with his friend like he used to because he has you, that's fine. I don't want you to feel like your feelings are not valid. That is basically all I want to say in this. And then again, if you are a girlfriend that does not care if your boyfriend is friends with an ex, don't let people come in and make it a big deal, because I know relationships where the girlfriend has become best friends with the ex on a purely friendship level. And that's because early on in the relationship, she met the ex, she saw there was nothing there anymore, she realized how fun this person was, and they became friends. So that's why the steps that I mentioned are important, and eventually meeting the ex is very, very important, whether it's through FaceTime or getting to know them, becoming their friends on Instagram and stuff like that, knowing why does my boyfriend need this friendship so bad. So anyway, that's it. I'm gonna stop rambling. If you enjoyed this video, make sure that you share, like, subscribe, and comment below. Let me know if you've ever stayed friends with an ex and why, and I will see you next time. Stay creative.